Hi, this is the Nothing Phone 3 that, funny enough, came out after both the 3A and 3A Pro. Videos of those ones up the top here and in the video description if you're interested. So what's happening here? Well, this is supposed to be Nothing's first real flagship phone, and looking at the price of around $799 US, that is about what we should expect as well. Firstly, looking on the outside here, this is a bit far out even for Nothing. The design is supposed to be asymmetrical, and they did that. The Glyph light strips from the previous phones have also been replaced with this new Glyph matrix display. And to just get this out of the way right away, this is a small display that you activate with the button on the back. That is for some reason fairly tough to push down too many times in a row. The display then shifts between a few, well, things like a stopwatch displaying the time, battery life, and also some more odd things like spin the bottle and a rock paper scissors game, for example. The display can also show notifications from the phone and act as a mirror of sorts for taking selfies. And I don't know, it's a little cool at first, but unfortunately the Glyph matrix does mostly feel like a gimmick function, even though it might be slightly useful to some. I also do find that adding more things on the back of the phone is a little counterintuitive to Nothing's first claim that a phone should mostly be a complement to the daily life and not distract so much from it, which this phone kind of does both design-wise and with this little new screen on the back. Moving on. Looking at the front though, here it gets a lot better. And the 6.67-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 1260 by 2800 pixels and an adaptive refresh rate from 30 up to 120 Hz is, well, great. Brightness is said to be 1600 nits with a peak of 4500. And while I haven't really tested that, the phone is bright enough and I don't really have any real complaints regarding the screen. One thing that was a little bit surprising here though, since this is supposed to be a flagship phone, I would have figured that Nothing would have gone with the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip on the inside. However, they instead picked the newer but not as speedy 8S Gen 4 chip, together with either 12 or 16GB RAM and 256 or 512GB storage. No micro SD card sadly, but expected. I've tried the 12GB RAM variant and, well, for sure there are no slowdowns and all games I've tested works really good, but for a flagship phone I would have expected the most flagship chip, which is not here. Software-wise though, the phone runs Nothing's own great Nothing OS version 3.5 on top of Android 15, and the phone offers 5 years of Android upgrades and 7 years of security updates, which is also good, not the best, but good. The phone also offers really good fingerprint and face unlock features, as well as an IP68 rating, so nothing wrong here really either. As for the cameras, they are also almost flagship level, with 3 round things on the back housing a 50 megapixel lens each, a main camera, a periscope camera with 3x optical zoom, and an ultra-wide 114 degrees field of view camera as well. Both the main camera as well as the periscope one also offers optical image stabilization, which is both sweet and also helpful when it comes to filming. For results here, I am pretty happy. The contrast is good even in lower light conditions. The colors are a little bit over the top, but definitely not too much. At least they're very poppy, and the whole camera experience is also really nice and snappy, which is really positive in my opinion. Even the front-facing camera is fairly good and delivers nice portrait pictures of my bald head. The only thing I've really noticed here is that sometimes I would have wanted the images to be a bit more sharp. You probably don't notice this unless you really zoom into them, but that pixel sharpness isn't really always there. But other than that, the cameras are great. Also, the macro functionality of the zoom lens is way above mid in my opinion. Battery life is also good, and the 5150 mAh battery makes the phone last about 2 days with normal use. Charging can be done up to 65 watts, and there's also support for both wireless and reverse wireless and wired charging. So no complaints here either. So to sum this one up, I do actually kind of like the Phone 3. The design is a bit too much for me, but it might be right for some. The only thing that I find a little lacking here is the choice of system chip for a flagship phone, and personally I would have managed well enough without the Glyph matrix display and instead have gotten a tiny bit better cameras and most of all a speedier system chip that would probably also have been able to make the phone live even a little bit longer than what it is destined to do right now. But yeah, it's a good phone, a little expensive looking at the raw performance and the design. It's definitely not for everyone, but as I see it, that is where a little bit of the money now probably is spent instead of the mentioned performance boost that would have been nice to have, at least in my opinion. Alright, please share any of your thoughts or questions in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching. Bye.